Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Kashif Booth podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with a guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, and what's next for them. As we are continuing season 3 with actors, I introduce to you guys Myles Hart. He is a actor, singer, presenter, PT, host of his own podcast, Get the Belt, which we'll get into later. Stop me, because I feel like there's more I'm missing.
I feel like that's about actor, presenter, PT, content curator as well. Yeah.
See,
You mentioned all. You got it all. You got it all.
See, you're a multi hyphenate person who's good at all of it. That's the great thing.
I try.
Yes,
I like to be versatile.
Well, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
This is our first time meeting properly.
Yeah.
But what I will tell you is that we have been in the same room before.
Okay.
But I was too shy to say anything to you because I was a fan of your podcast. So we were both nominated at the Screen Nation Awards in 2019. My web series was nominated, and I Get the Belt was, and I was like, there's Myles and your former co-host. I can't remember her name, Kashmir,
yeah.
Yes, and I was like, I should say I'm a fan, but I was like, you know what?
Let me just you should have.
So welcome to the show again.
Thank you.
See, you're an actor, and I know that you went to Brit School as well.
Yes.
So then tell us your journey, because now you're currently in the Book of Mormon. You've been in that show for how many years now?
I think it's 5 years.
Wow.
Coming up to 6. Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a long time there, but I'm grateful to have had such a long career with one show and do my bits there.
So tell us the process. Like, how did you get started as an actor? What's your journey?
Okay, so I was always seeking attention as soon as I left my mother's vagina. Like it was showtime from as soon as I was born. So I started acting really, really young. Went to drama classes, like on weekends or like after school, and then I was singing as well. So then it went from like acting classes to places that did like singing and acting, and then like I was dancing at home, and then the last like club I went to whilst living in the UK was a musical theatre club. So it wasn't just singing, acting, dancing, it was all three. And I liked that, so I kept that up. Went to live in Spain for a bit. Created like my own little dance theatre school out there. Auditioned for the Brit School. Got in, so I moved to London at 15. Studied musical theatre there. And then from there I went on to the Erdang Academy, which is a more dancey, but I was on the professional dance and musical theatre course, trained. Got signed to an agent who I'm still with now, have a great relationship with. So that was like over 6 years ago now that I graduated. I think it's like 6 or 7 years ago. It's been a minute. And then, just was auditioning for stuff. My first like professional gig wasn't actually an acting gig. It was a commercial dance at the Brit Awards. I can't remember what year it was, but it was the year Madonna was pulled from
when she fell down the thing.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
I think that was like 2000, maybe 15 or 16, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds about right, because it was the year that I graduated. And then I did a musical, which was at the Union Theatre. I played a mole. Yeah, we were all moles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was called Dunkton Wood. If you Google that, it's about moles underground. It was cute. It was funny. It was a fun show. And then I got another job whilst in that as a singer on a cruise ship, which was it was kind of musical theatre, because they would do musical shows and stuff. So it wasn't just like standing up doing sing song. There were shows that had like storylines and stuff like that. And then when I finished that for, I think that was like 9 months, I came back to London, auditioned. Actually had quite a bit of a dark time then, because like that was the first time since graduating that I didn't have another job lined up. Didn't know if I was going to get anything else. My finances were atrocious, because unlike all the other people on the cruise ship that were saving, and just every time we'd stop somewhere, they would sit on the beach and drink beers that they brought from the ship, whereas I was doing a horse rides on the island, going to the shop, enjoying. So when I got back, I ain't have no money, but I had all the memories of the world, which is great. But I kind of hit rock bottom, because I didn't have anything lined up. I was going through I was at the start of the end of my long-term relationship with my partner. and yeah, shit just was crazy. And then I started this audition process for the Book of Mormon, which I didn't even know anything about the show. I just knew it was a West End show, and was going in there to audition. It was 10 rounds over the course of, I think, maybe a month or so. And then, got the FaceTime whilst living at a friend's house because I wasn't at my place, again, for financial reasons, and definitely wasn't at my girlfriend's place at that time because that wasn't working out. And then, got the FaceTime from my agent, and she was like, yeah, you've booked this job in the West End. And I've been there growing, learning, stabilizing, and doing other things outside of the theatre ever since. Yeah.
So you said 10 rounds of auditions. What was that like? See, because I'm a filmmaker, so look, usually we have like self-tapes and then we'll do a callback, but we'll do that in person just to get the feel of the actor, give them some notes, and the director will direct them to kind of pull the best out of them in maybe a few rounds of them auditioning and reading with, like, let's say the actors who already been casted. So what was that 10 rounds like? Like, what was the first one like to right to the end?
So the first one was just bring your own material. So I had to go in and sing a pop rock song. And that was it. And obviously you walk in there and they want to get to know a bit of who you are. So they'll just chat to you. And I can't remember whether it was my first or my second round, but I'd also just been fired from a regular job. I was working for Creme de la Mer, in Central, and they were like, "How's your day?" I was like, "Oh, well, I just got fired from from this job, so yeah, it's been great."
That's funny.
And so I went in, sang my song, and they're like, "Yeah, great." And I think they may have asked me to do some scales, so just go and see how high I could go, and then that was that. And then I got a call back, I think maybe the next day from my agent saying, yeah, they want to see you again. They've sent you material this time. So I had to learn songs and some scenes. They saw me again. And there's generally about 4 to 5 people in the room. You'll have the director, the musical director, the choreographer was there as well. And then you'll either have someone from the casting agency that the show has hired to cast the show. And then sometimes you'll have a producer there, sometimes not. But with each round, the people at the table would grow. By the last round of me going back, doing the same stuff, like singing the same stuff over and over again, and then doing scenes and being workshops with the director in those scenes. By the time we got to the 10th round, it was in... What studio was it? It's near, oh my goodness, it's near Southwark, Glass Hill Studios, and we used one of the studios at the top, which is like 5 times the size of the room we're in now. Right. And when I say there was about 5 long tables in a long row, and there was about 18 people in the room with cameras and stuff. So they had the whole UK collective. Wow. And then Mormon is an American show. All the Americans were there, producers, the directors from over there, and then someone else filming it for God knows who else. So that was intense, and I walked into that room thinking, oh shit, there's so many people looking at me right now.
Okay.
But at this point, I'd done it 10 times. I was so confident with my shit. So yeah, it felt good. I went in there, did what I needed to do. They made me do scales again, slayed that. And then, about a week later, got a call saying, yeah, you've got the job.
Amazing.
But it was a very, very long process. Yeah.
Were there ever times where you're like, you know what, I can't do this anymore, or if I don't get this, I'm going to be so annoyed? Like,
yeah, at this point, it was like, I need this. And I had a good feeling throughout constantly. I don't know. I never was really doubting it. I had no doubts. I just knew I needed this because I just got fired from this job because I got caught drinking on my lunch break. And they didn't even clock me when I went back to work. It was someone snitched like the next day or something, but
it was on your lunch break.
And exactly. Also, everything happens for a reason because, like I said, this audition process took like a month and a bit 10 rounds, and I needed to learn the material, and I was full-time at this job, and like when I was getting these recalls, it would be on days that I was meant to be at work.
Okay, right.
So it was lucky I got fired with a month pay while they were reviewing the thing. On that month off, with the pay, I was learning the material, being able to go to these auditions, and then got the job. Had I not been fired, I would have been like, shit, I need to call it off sick to go to this audition, or da-da-da-da. So God acts in mysterious ways. I needed to get fired so I could have a month of money from that job, but spend the time auditioning.
I completely understand that, because when I started working in TV and film, I was like, okay, applying for loads of jobs or doing loads of internships, but I needed to work as well, because I wasn't getting paid for that stuff. So what I used to do when I was still at uni and fresh out of uni, I was still working at Sainsbury's, but I was doing online shopping. Yeah. So I would start work at like 4 or 5 a.m.
That was me in the pandemic, girl. Ooh, I did them same shifts at Sainsbury's.
You know exactly
with
what
the scanner and the boxes. Yeah, girl. Ooh. The half of the West End ended up in Sainsbury's in 2020. I'll tell you that.
Exactly. So I would then finish work at like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. And so I would let my employers know, for the companies I was working with, like, look, I'm here doing this, I will get there at 10 o'clock. And they was like, we respect your hustle. So I was sometimes up for like 24 hours, just, getting up early, going to work, then going to another job. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I am now. Fact. Because, you know, we need to make money, but if you're doing a job which is just taking up all your time during the day, then it just takes up time. Or even when I used to do night shifts, same thing. I would start work at like 11 p.m, finish at 8 a.m.
Where was you working in the night?
I just all retail, like Waitrose.
Retail?
Yeah, I was doing Waitrose.
Okay, like the online. Okay.
Yeah. Doing all of that stuff. And then I'd go to set and I would be working as well. And everyone used to just think I was crazy, but I was like, well, this is what I want to do. Yeah. And I need to make money.
Fact.
So I totally get that. So that's really good to hear, that whole process, because I know nothing about theatre. So I actually want to kind of get into it eventually. Yeah. So for those who don't know about Book of Mormon, what is it about?
So it's written by the writers of South Park.
Oh, okay.
So it's a comedy, and it's very in your face. They swear in the show. It's very not gag worthy. It's very, what's the word? Tongue in cheek. It uses a lot of shock factor. It's about, without giving too much away, it's about these two Mormons that have just, I don't know, like graduated Mormon school or the Mormon church, and they get set on their first ever mission to go somewhere to save people, to convert them to Mormonism. And one of them is like a goody two-shoes, read the Mormon Bible front to back, knows the scriptures, is on his shit. The other one is the complete opposite. Like, if he was to be played by someone, it would be that, who would it be? Oh, the short, fat guy from, oh my gosh, from, The Hangover.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Crazy. Doesn't know what's going on. This motherfucker ain't read the Mormon Bible. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. But he's just apparently his dad's, when they drop him off to the airport with the goody two shoes to go on their mission, the dad's just like, oh, just be careful of your problem. And the other guy's like, what do you mean? What's your son's problem? And he's just like, oh, our son likes to lie a lot. Okay. And then he's like, no, I just have got an imagination and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And he ends up, basically, they go to Uganda and they end up in this village where it's dire. Like, no one's got any money. Everyone's dying with AIDS. Like, they're just, it's shit life out there. And so they're like, fuck God. Like, in the first scene where they like start interacting with these Ugandans, the Ugandans are just like, we've heard this all before. Like, we've had missionaries come from Christianity every year. They try to save us. They say they're going to do this and that. Nothing gets better. We're tired of hearing your story. Fuck you. Fuck God. Fuck off. We're good. And the goody two shoes guy tries to like actually say what's in the Bible and convert them. They don't want to hear it. And then the other guy, who doesn't know what's in the Bible, ends up making up a load of stuff that they do find interesting, because he's referencing Star Wars, like he's referencing all of these other things. And yeah, basically they get saved for the wrong reasons, and then shit goes down, and it's a funny little journey. But yeah, I don't want to give too much away. I feel like that's a lot already.
Okay, nice. So, because you've been with like the Book of Mormon for 6 years, like I usually thought like, okay, you have like a set of actors who do this run for a certain amount of time in a theatre show, and then they get a new cast in. How come I might be wrong, I'm just guessing it.
No, you're kind of right. Right.
So then how has it been that you've been able to be on there for 6 years?
I think it's just because I'm too good. No, I'm joking. Well, when you get a job in a West End show, or I'm guessing any long running production, you get offered a contract. That contract in the West End is generally a year's contract. And then when it comes to the end of the year, generally, if the show is successful enough to like stay on, they will ask the cast, would you like to stay? If you were going to stay, would it be the same role? Would you like more responsibilities? For example, be resident choreographer, dance captain, whatever. And so after my first year, I was a swing, which is basically like an understudy for multiple people. So I was never on stage every day. I'd be sat in the dressing room until people on the stage took holiday, fell ill, got sick during the show. But I would be ready to go on and play any character. So my first year as a swing, I really enjoyed that, because I was not only able to go on stage and like, live the dream or whatnot, but when I wasn't on stage and I was just sat in the dressing room waiting for the show to finish, or someone to like fall over and me have to run down and do their track, I'd be on my laptop working on other stuff. So it was like amazing. So when it got to the end of the year, I was like, yeah, I do want to stay. I'd love to still be a swing. However, not all the time do actors or performers get renewed that contract for whatever reason. It could be someone in that audition process for the forthcoming year was more suited or more talented. Maybe they didn't get on with people. I don't know. There's lots of reasons as to why people's contracts aren't renewed. Mine was just renewed for 5-6 consecutive years. The first 3, I was a swing. Then we had COVID for like a year and a bit. We were out. And then when I came back, I played Dr. Gotswana. So no longer swing, but on stage every night. And I've been doing that for the last year. And this will be the second year. So yeah, they ask you if you want to stay. You say yes or no. If you say no, you go. You can audition for something else, do whatever you want to do. Or you say yes and they say, wicked, stay. Or you say yes and they say, sorry, girl.
Okay. Nice. That's really good to hear. That's just to understand that process, because as I said, I'm more film and TV, so yeah, I'm really intrigued by that. So how many shows do you do a week? Because I know after this you got to go and do a show. So
not today's Sunday, thank God.
Oh, okay.
Sundays is our day off in the Book of Mormon.
Oh, okay.
Thank God, because there are some shows out there that have Mondays off, or like Tuesday, like really weird. So in the West End, you generally like I'd say 95% of the shows, it's 8 shows a week.
Okay.
Generally over 6 days with 1 day off, and it will be 4 days with just one show in the evening, and then 2 days with a matinee show. And for us, it's one show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then on Friday we have a matinee show at 2:30, then the evening show, and Saturday as well.
Okay.
But like I said, some shows have got Tuesday till Sunday, with their double shows being Saturday and Sunday and like a Monday off. And that doesn't work with like real life and family and friends, because who you meeting up with on Monday?
Yeah, exactly. Just sleep.
So at least I've got Sunday, so I can, get to the shops before they close at 5 and see people.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, 8 shows a week, and sometimes over like holidays it'll be 9.
Oh, okay. So like Christmas and New Year.
Christmas, Christmas schedules are mad in the West End. Yeah, it'll be like 2 shows, 2 shows, 2 shows, 1 show, 1 day off, 2 shows. It's crazy. Yeah, actors in the West End get worked hard. Like we really do. And I feel like a lot of people see just the Instagram or like the posters and think, oh, they're just living life. Honestly, it's so demanding. For one, it's a 6-day work week.
Yeah.
It's unsociable hours. And and often on the weekends. And then when it comes to like bank holidays, that's generally when they want to put in another show in there. Like actors in the West End work so hard and give so much of their time. Obviously we love what we do, but I do feel like that gets weaponized against us by like producers and stuff. Like you're taught from like drama school, like you're lucky to even be at the drama school, and then when you finish the drama school and you get a job, you're lucky to get a job. So yeah, I feel like that sense of feeling lucky because you're in somewhere where you want to be, I feel like that gets used against us. And yeah, but that's another show, girl.
No, I can understand what you're saying, because same with my industry. Like if we're doing set hours, it's 12 hours max, and then that could go over to 14, and you're doing night shifts as well.
Yeah,
night shoots, 8 p.m. call time to 8 a.m. wrap, or it's crazy. So I totally, I get it. It's hard, like especially as a creative, you're always trying to find that work-life balance. I've kind of got better at it in 2022, and I'm hoping to continue that this year, because you want a successful career, but there's more to life than just a successful career.
100%.
So
that is definitely something I've learned over the last couple of years. I lost my nan, and since then so much has shifted. And yes, I want to be successful and have a career, and I'm really lucky to have one. There's still much more that I want, but the goals have definitely shifted, and priorities have been moved around, because one thing I can say is when I was with my nan on her deathbed, she wasn't speaking about her career. It was about the love in her life. And some of it did come from her job. But, I don't think I'm going to be on my deathbed. I don't want to be looking at the checks that I've made.
Yeah.
I want to, have my good memories, but I want the people I love to be around me.
It's true. I understand that. So do you think you would stay on the West End for the rest of your career?
Lies, no. No. I just told you the schedule, 6 days a week. 6 days a week at big 55 and 60 years old. Now I know actors in their 60s that are on stage. There's a guy in my show, Richard Lloyd King. He's a dope actor. He's been in the game for years, and he's great. But I don't want to be dancing on no stage at my 60s, 6 days a week, 8 shows a week. Lies, no.
So do you want to move more into like
TV presenting? I'll do like little stints. Like generally, like musicals generally last a lot longer. Plays, they'll be in theaters for maybe a month and have shorter runs. That's more me. Like especially as I'm getting older, I'm 31 now, 32 this year. I don't want to be doing up 8 shows a week. No, not 8 shows a week for a year. That is no. I love it, and I've done some stuff like some film work before, and like been on movie sets. I was like a Spanish soldier in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean films. Long ass days, often quite boring, doing the same scene over and over and over and over and over again. However, once you've done it and you've got the shot, like you move on, you're done, and you get the check, and it's there forever. With the West End, you do your rehearsal process, and then it's the show again every day. It's great, you get the audience reaction. But yeah, it's just the 8 shows a week, 6 days a week.
No, it feels like you've reached that period where you're like, okay, I need change.
I need change. Like I've been in this show now for a long time, and I've been doing different things in it. But yeah, I want my time back, and I want to do something else. And like over lockdown was the first time I ever got to like go out and meet people at like 7 p.m. and when the restaurants was open, not when it was locked down. I wasn't meeting people at 7 p.m. Let's let that be known.
Do you mean like when it was like eat out to help out?
Yeah, eat out to help out. That was a good old time.
Listen,
that was a good old time. Wowee, I was well off in that pandemic. I felt like a rich bitch.
Same. Listen, you're going out on a Monday and it was like £3. I was like, what?
I was enjoying.
Yes.
But yeah, so like that was my first time since ever really as a grown adult that I was able to like enjoy evenings, because like I said, since graduating I was booked consistently. I was on tour, I was on in a show, so I didn't ever really have the opportunity to have my evenings, and that was the first time ever that I was like, let's go to a bar, let's book dinner at 8, because I'm either a warm-up or on stage or performing somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I want to do more of that.
Cool. So then when it comes to like film and TV, what kind of roles do you think you want to get? Like, what's your dream role?
You know what? I got asked the other day on my Instagram, what would my dream theatre role be? I don't know. And I really wanted to respond saying I want to play myself, but I thought don't be a dickhead. But like, I don't really have a dream role. One thing I definitely know I want to do, like, I never thought I would do comedy and be wanted by the production team for 5 consecutive years. I didn't think I was ever like funny like that.
Okay.
But the show's greatly written, so it's probably nothing to do with me. It's just I'm just performing.
Comedy is very hard. Comedy, I think comedic actors are very underrated, and I feel like they're the most eclectic actors as well, because they can pull it from different experiences and just kind of mesh into different characters, especially when they go into drama or action. I think they're underrated in my opinion.
I ain't ever seen myself being a comedy actor, but that's now the biggest chunk of my career in a comedy show. But I really want to get into something really, like, I don't want to say serious, but I want to be able to like really dig deep into some of the, either the traumatic times I've been through, or just I want to have to dig deep into my emotions and be able to play a character that is complex and shows a lot of heart. Like, I want to do some real raw acting. Like, I want to completely do something that's contrasting what I'm doing now, which is funny. So really anything of that sort. I don't think I've got a typecast. I don't think so. I don't want to be one of those actors that always does the same kind of stuff. I want to be able to be versatile. So I want to just do more serious roles, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Would you ever consider writing something of your own?
Yes, there is something I've been saying for the longest time I want to do. It's to do with my nan's life, actually. I've got loads of videos of her talking about her life. Like, she's a white woman, married a Nigerian, ended up moving to Nigeria, and the stories from not just what she experienced in England, being a white woman in the 50s and 60s, dating a black Nigerian guy, the racism she witnessed and was the brunt of as well. Then moving to Nigeria, that whole experience and the things she saw over there. She was there in the Biafran War, like the stories that she's told me about near-death experiences, seeing people being killed on the roadside, like just wild shit. And then she was in an abusive relationship, which I didn't know until later in my life, with my grandfather. Ended up having to flee the country, came back to England with nothing but, one suitcase, a sewing machine, 5 kids, and my mum in her stomach. And she only found out that she had my mum and was pregnant for my mum by the time she got back to England. And ended up setting up a business and so much. So, like, I really want to document and write that. And at the beginning, I thought, it's going to be a play. It's going to be a theatre piece. And then I thought, you know what? There's so many little stories that this could be an online web series.
Yeah, true.
But I need time to do that. I need time. So I've not fully started writing it yet, but I would like to write some of my own stuff.
Nice. Okay. So speaking of other stuff that you are doing, you do also have Get the Belt, which is your podcast, which you've had for like almost 5 years, right?
I think so. Something came up the other day. I think it's either 4 or 5 years. I'm unsure, but the podcast.
Because I remember first seeing your podcast because it was funny. We were both promoting our work in like the same Facebook group, and I saw
which one?
It was Kojo's platform. Kojo the comedian. What was his platform called? Black Magic Network, but I think it was called...
that rings a bell. I was posting that shit everywhere I could.
And I was doing the same thing for my web series, and I saw it there, so I was like, let me check this out, and I listened to it, and I was like, okay, this is really fun. I really enjoyed it, and that's how I started listening to your podcast as well. So, and that was in 2018, I think. And then that's when you had like Kashmir and I think
Remy.
Yes. Was it? Yes, I think at Remy, and then it went to Spiritual
Baddie. We had a bit of a Destiny's Child story where one would come and then the other would go. Remy, it started off initially with Remy. We trained at the Odang Academy together, so he was a performer. And then he went down the route of creating his own dance school, and that took priority for him. So that was like, we're like still really good friends. So he went and focused on that, and I was like, we need a third person still. We need a third person. So that's when we held auditions, and I knew Spiritual Baddie. Shout out to them, love them. He brought a real spiritual vibe, hence the name, to the show, and I thought that would be something really great that our audience would either learn from or want to experience. It was just another really interesting layer to what the show was. And then he left and it was just Kashmir and myself. And then it was us for the longest. And then she went her way and I stayed by myself trying to find another co-host because I was like, I need someone. I don't want it just to be the Myles show, like me talking. I want varied opinions and stuff like that. And yeah, I ain't found anyone since. So, and the people were like, we love it by yourself, but I would still prefer a co-host.
Okay.
But until then, I'm it's just me on the show.
But see, I think it's fine because I remember listening to the show.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was your show. And
really?
they would, and they
People
were just
be
your
saying
like
that.
your additional hosts. Like
Stop
they
it.
not saying it was in a bad way, but like it felt like you were putting in all the work and were the curator and the vision behind the show. So
What gave you that impression?
I don't know, but it just felt like it was your show, and they were just there to kind of be your co-host, your guest host, like, you know, people who just come on and give their opinions. It really felt like your show, and it felt like your vision. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah.
Well, the gag is it was, and it was very much me putting in 95% of work, which is why Kashmir ended up leaving, because I was like, we can't do this anymore. Like it ended up, even though I love the girl to bits, it did end up being taxing.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't want to build resentment to someone I work with, and I don't want to ever work in a negative environment. And so when that started to come about and that feeling was there, and she didn't even, I don't feel like her heart was in it towards the end. It was at the beginning, but it left. It was just the right thing to do, because I didn't want it to affect the show or my mentor or my friendship. So, but yeah, it was very much my vision, still is, and I still love the show. Hence it's back. It took like a year and a bit out after my nan passed, and now it's back, girl. You can check it out. Get the Bell podcast.
It's doing so well. You've had great numbers. You were signed to Acast before, but I think you have your own podcast network now, right?
Yeah, Nice Things Network. Yeah. So Nice Things Network, we are working with Acast still.
Oh, great.
So they help with the producing of it and monetizing to some extent. But yeah, otherwise everything else is done in-house with Nice Things Network, yeah.
Great. And so, like, what was the main reason why you wanted to start Get the Belt anyway? And tell them the theme of Get the Belt, because that's the best segment, one of the best segments on the show, Get the Belt.
Oh, the actual Get the Belt segment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to start the podcast because I did this cruise ship where I was away for 9 months, and there was no internet, or like if there was, it was very, very brief. And I just felt really disconnected from the world. And I got put onto the podcast, The Read. I don't know if you know about The Read.
Oh, yeah.
And these two black guys, one woman, one man, one woman, both black, both queer, and they just gave me life. And every week, as soon as I'd get Wi-Fi, I'd like download it. And they just made me laugh. I felt like I had people to chat to. All the other people on the cruise ship were white. And it's the first time I'd ever been in just an all-white environment with no respite. Like, it wasn't like don't get it twisted. I've been in all-white environments, but I'd always leave, go home and be with my black family or have my one black friend but here it was like, you're on this ship, it's you and just these white people, and
there was no sense of familiarity of home.
None. And that was the first time I really felt like, so this is why why I this is why I congregate to like the black people when I was in school, because this and nothing but this is tough. And I ended up feeling, like shit, like conversations would only go so far. But when I got this podcast, I was actually busting up laughing in my room, even though no one was there with me. And I was this is great. We need this in the UK though, because it was American stuff. And I was up to date on all the American shit, but I don't know what was going on in the UK. So when I got back to the UK, I wanted to create something that was black, that was British, that was queer, that was current and funny and relatable, but British and not American. And so I thought about it. I wrote down some ideas, thought about who I wanted to, be a co-host with me, and spoke to both Remy and Kashmir. They were so down, and created it. Hollered some people to do like the photography and stuff, and like a few of my dancer friends to do like a video that actually never got released, but it was actually so lit. Like some amazing dancers in there. And then created it, put it out, and then within like a month of us doing independent, or 2 or 3 months of us doing independent releases, paying for the studio, I was put on to Acast. They were interested, and the rest is history.
Nice. So how'd you come up with the name Get the Belt?
Get the Belt because I knew that each week I wanted us to cuss someone out or to get something off of our chest. Okay. And we came up with so many different names, but Get the Belt was I can't remember. I think it may have been my idea. I think so. I can't remember. I have to check the group chats from years ago. But we wanted to keep the name as connected to what the show is as possible, and it was, black and brown people. I'm mixed, and they are both black.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a show where we cuss. It was going to be real, and I thought we all got beat growing up. Yeah, we want to technically, like, quote unquote, beat, but with our words, whoever we're going to be cussing out. Yes. And I used to get the belt, so why don't we give the belt to people? Yes. And they were like, oh, okay. And then I said, like, why don't we just call the show Get the Belt? And we went with it, and it stuck, and now it just sounds right. Like, then I was like, oh, is it going to be okay? I don't know. And then actually, funny story, I ended up speaking to Kid Fury about the name, and I explained it to him, and he was like, oh, fuck, man, like, I wish I called my show Get the Belt. I was like, So that, from when he even said that, I said, okay, this is a good name, and it stuck. And so the segment Get the Belt, there's a few segments in the show. Word of the Week, which is like a motivational, inspirational moment, self-help moment, lessons I've either learned, or when I have guests on the show, they'll give theirs. Miles Measures, which is like pop culture segment. And then Melanin Magnificence, which shines a light on someone of colour doing bits. And then we've got Get the Belt, which is the segment where we cuss someone out that needs a good cussing. And it can be sometimes deep and about politics and things that are affecting communities. Or sometimes it's just about a nigga that's pissed me off. Or sometimes it's just light problems, like, I don't know, being on the tube and people standing on the left instead of the right.
Yeah.
Like, I can go off at them. Or the people that when the door opens on the tube and there's someone stood there looking at you like you're not about to exit.
Yeah.
They get the belt.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's do a little bit of that segment now. Who would you give the belt to? No, you put me on like this. Who would you give the belt to this week?
Shit. Who would I give the belt to this week? That was good, Kashif. Okay, I see you. Who would I give the belt to this week? Who has tried me or... Shit.
See, I know who I'd give the belt to.
Okay, you go first.
I'd give it to my best friend, because we've started like a commentary show like online where we talk about, along with this show, just me doing more hosting, because that's what I want to do more this year. So we agreed. We have a contract as well. He edits the videos. Yeah. And every day I'm like, have you edited the videos? No. So it's like, it's getting to the point where I'm like, should I just take over and do all the work? So he deserves to get the belt, because it's like, why are you not holding on?
And he signed the contract.
Yes, and he
So what happens if he breaks the contract?
Then I hurt him. He's my best friend, so it's fine. But it's like, it was his show originally, and he asked me to join it. So if you're going to ask someone like me to join your show...
Because he knows you're going to do the work.
Exactly. So he needs to edit the videos. Facts. So he gets the belt. I need to add like a sound effect, like in your show. Yeah. So...
Oh, shit. So who would I... Okay. I would give the belt this week to... Okay, so the other day I went to a club briefly with some friends and my boyfriend, and there was this one guy there who I'd spoken to previously, like real brief, and I wasn't in a position where I could entertain him, because I was dating someone at the time. So it was just like, oh, yeah, you're cute, yeah, I can't do this, but cool, we're moving on. And we've been cool ever since then, cordial, like we kept it. It was fine.
Yeah.
And then I ended up a couple years later dating someone that was his ex. And then ever since then, he started moving mad with me. He unfollowed me. And I didn't understand the reason. Cause I didn't even know that was his ex. But also, we don't even know each other like that. We'd met before. You wanted... I couldn't. I wanted to and I couldn't, but we left it at that. And then he's just been book with me ever since. Will ignore me in the street. Will just... If we're in the same space, doesn't like just the vibes are mad, but I'm not trying to thump anyone up like that in workspaces because he's very much in the industry. Okay. And so I left it, and then the other day I'm out with my boyfriend, we enjoying, and then that's the time when he wanted to, even though he's seen me many times before, to come over and say, you know, you look good, I hope you're well, da 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 da. And I'm giving him the belt because. Like you could have done this at any time. You chose a time when I'm with someone. I thought it was very very weird for him to do. But people are mad, and the energy just felt icky and felt yucky and it felt false. So I'm giving him the belt this week.
I would too.
Thanks.
It's always like them people who you were talking to like years ago, or they ghosted you, and they want to come creeping back.
When they see you really enjoying yourself with someone beautiful that can whine better than them and has better skin and talent.
You know, and they just hop up in your WhatsApp, and you're like, "This is why the block button was created." Because like I hate when these fools come running back. I'm like, okay, block. So no, that's a good one.
Yeah,
like
and all ghosters, people that ghost, they all get the belt too.
Yes,
cunts.
exactly.
Weak.
Exactly. So, Myles, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It was great having you. Yeah, and to chat in person because, like, we've just known each other for a while, but never like.
Yeah, it's been years. Like,
yeah.
If it was from when the podcast came about, and we were saying it's 5 years, so we've been knowing of each other, but never met for 5 years.
Yeah. That's weird. Exactly.
Well, hello, friend.
So, where can people find you and get the belt and everything else you've got going on?
Either my website, myleshart.com, or my Instagram. I'm trying to do this Twitter thing. Twitter. I'm trying to do the Twitter thing, but I'm trying to do this TikTok thing as well. And I'm struggling.
It's hard.
It's so difficult. It made me feel like an old man. But yeah, I'm basically Myles Hart on all platforms, mainly on Instagram, and then you can find Get the Belt on Instagram and all the other podcasting places. You just type Get the Belt or Get the Belt Pod. But yeah, Instagram mainly, and all the links there. Yeah, eat it up.
Great.
Enjoy.
Great. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. And as usual, guys, you can follow me all on my usual socials. You know them. There's a bunch of them. So stay tuned for new episodes coming soon.
Bye.